What's going on, people? Myke C-Town here. Welcome to the first episode of Backpack Classics. This is going to be where I talk about classic indie underground hip-hop albums that would probably never get touched with Dead End Hip Hop. For those of you that don't know, the voting process for this series is going to be done through my Patreon, so if you're not a patron of mine yet, make sure you jump on that. This was between Casual, Fear Itself, and Company Flow's Funcrusher Plus. The album that reintroduced me to hip-hop and my all-time favorite hip-hop album. Obviously, Funcrusher Plus won, and I want to thank you guys for voting because I feel like this is going to be a fun discussion. But for those of you that don't know, Company Flow is a hip-hop group from Brooklyn, New York that was founded in 1993, made up of MCs LP and Big Just, as well as DJ Mr. Len. And I think the most interesting thing about this album is it's one that doesn't offer up a casual response. There's never a, this is cool. You know, it's always either this fucking sucks or this is fucking amazing. I still remember the first time I heard this album, and it was in my old roommate Scott's truck, and he had just gotten it and told me that I needed to hear it. And the first song he played for me was Vital Nerve, and I remember thinking, like, this is cool, but I'm so confused by this. Like, what's going on? What is this beat? And how and why are they rhyming like this? But the thing is, I could not get that song out of my head, which eventually led me to buying the album myself and falling in love with it. You know, the way it comes in with that, since you're my special friend, come closer for a special treat. I'm gonna let you touch me in a special place. And then the first couple of bars from Big Just. Yo, eyes get blind like Tupac getting shot in the lobby. Most MC styles robbery of my freestyles is a hobby. I pick apart monkey brains and spread disease through hot zones. My cameos on promos seem strange, like someone's not home. Big Just the outsider went on your dream field with style so freaking wet niggas need maxi panty shields. At this point, I knew that I was in for something special. Then LP comes in with this part where he's like, and once again, in one verse we proved we can rip all these signed big budget motherfuckers. And I was like, oh fuck yes. And I'm thinking, what could follow up that Big Just verse? But LP does a great job, man. The counteraction is just a helpless action of the hapless flinching. My supersonics leave you mute like Maggie Simpson. Okay, so at that point, I'm like, we officially have two MCs who are just beasts on the mic. And the way LP ends his verse here is just so dope to me. The enigma, no one can fuck with me, but still I'm not signed. You want to battle, it's better look in the mirror and say Candyman 5 times. I had never heard anyone outside of like a rhyme cipher spit like this. Surely no one on an actual record. The next track, 8 Steps to Perfection. This is a classic Company Flow track, and from what I understand, this was the first track that they released as a group with all 3 members. Prior to that, it was just LP and Mr. Len. And every backpack rap nerd knows that when that beat hits and just comes in with rugged like Rwanda, you get hype. And it's a hard-ass beat that's fairly minimal, some tough drums, some hard-hitting bass, and this weird sound effect thing that's going on in the background. And to me, that's what makes the track. You know, these sound effects almost sound like they're something pulled from a sci-fi movie. And from here, the record just stays amazing. With every song, you're getting some of the hardest beats and some of the most esoteric rhymes that you've ever heard at that point. Like, take a track like Population Control. The way it comes in with that acapella verse from L, and then when the beat hits, that drum break is so nasty. And it's just some fucking nasty lyrics. LP fades through these walls like vision, choked in the shallow water, a bad executive decision. Or, I don't try to be different, I am, so inevitably my style will survive when your now turns to then. LP vastly crapophobic. Crapophobic, man, come on. And then Just follows up very nicely. The Daylight Goblin, even the nights we rip shit up. The 2 franchise players that make your whole squad look butt. Who brought the March Madness competition until October, got you thinking the shit became a little bit harder. These niggas is fucking soldiers. And what was always super amazing to me is that you have these 2 MCs who were insane spitters, but also the features were dudes who were insane spitters who didn't rhyme like anyone else did either. Like, take the track Collude with j-treds. This ridiculously bouncy beat with this funky ass bass, and Mr. Len is just going crazy on the turntables. But the way these dudes rhyme here, this is the first taste we get of j-treds. Game over when I blow your mind, but then I aimed over explosive cuts. Verbal flamethrower serving roasted nuts. As after battle snacks, you wish you were a cup in your panties. All you pussies in this rap game, time to up the ante. What rapper talks about how hot he is on the mic, that he lights your nuts on fire, and then serves them to people as snacks? Like, j-treds is fucking disgusting. Then going back to Vital Nerve with BMS, you know, this is one of the illest beats I have ever heard ever. And again, it's so simplistic, but it hits so hard. Those 3 notes, doom, doom, doom. Then the drums come in to back up those 3 notes. It's just so damn good. And when L comes in, it's lovely, man. I'll do the simple shit. Strike harder than Hoffa. L the maladjusted MC, Funcrusher. And this song has my favorite L line ever, and actually one of my favorite rap quotes ever. And it's a line that I've mentioned a million times on Dead in Hip Hop. With hip hop guidelines, I state I never liked authority. When sales control stats, I place no faith in the majority. I think this line goes without needing serious explanation, but he's basically saying that when people choose who is considered the best rapper based on how many albums they sold, then faith in the ones making those types of decisions in hip hop gets totally lost. You know, like if a group of people comes and tells me that Drake is a better rapper than Big L because Drake sold more records, as opposed to breaking down who has more actual skill, then I feel like that's a problem. For instance, this album may not have sold huge numbers at the time, but it still changed the landscape of underground hip hop in a way that is still being felt today, whether a lot of us realize it or not. So the whole who sold more discussion, it really gets thrown out of the window when you're looking at the overall landscape of hip hop. And we gotta talk about another one of my favorite jams on this album, and that's The Fire in Which You Burn with Breeze Bruin and j-treds again. This beat is fucking stupid. Those off-kilter drums, Len again destroying those turntables, and it introduces me to yet another MC that I'd never heard of, and that's Breeze Bruin, who's in a group called Juggernauts, who had released an album a year prior to this one in '96, but I wasn't aware of it at the time. Of course, now I love it. But the thing about Breeze Bruin is not only is he a dope lyricist, he's one of those guys who has a voice perfect for rap, kind of like Vast Air. So no matter what he's saying, he still sounds incredible on a beat. And he starts off this track bananas. There are so many dope lines in his verse. Don't mention jokingly, ayo, them niggas ain't atomic, ain't the comic, niggas gutsy after the disemboweling. Gutsy after the guts pulled out, guts, god damn. And the way he ends his verse, how you do it, I'll devour you, it's simple shit'll get props. Don't let me bring a god, I swing it hard like little kid box. So front I keep the tone vexing, but the heads stay pleasant to the ears, just think of Lauryn Hill on phone sexing. Okay, I swing it hard like little kids box. Kids box, they swing as hard as they can. Dope. And then talking about the Lauryn Hill, I stay pleasant to the ears, just think of Lauryn Hill phone sexing. Like, come on, man. And I already talked about j-treds, but I'm gonna talk about him again on this song because his verse is fucking sick. I'm the living circle, circle, dot, dot, nobody can touch me. I could not believe this line when I first heard it. Circle, circle, dot, dot, now you got the cootie shot. Who remembers that shit from when you were a kid? So if you did that, little kids who had the cooties, they couldn't give it to you because you had the cootie shot. Now think of, I'm the living circle, circle, dot, dot, nobody can touch me. That shit is fucking dope as hell. One more line. Because on the mic, I've got more presence than attendance in a class of schizophrenics. Jesus Christ, man. And Big Just comes in. It be these 2 style slide niggas who will rock off any beat you push. Cell therapy, down south goody mob as special as the Bush. I think it's dope as fuck that he's basically saying that they can kill any beat you give them, from a southern beat like Goody Mob's Cell Therapy, or a track like New York's Special as the Bush. That's dope to me. But now we gotta talk about the LP line. He says, I wasn't born in a manger, but I still received 3 gifts, alphabetically listed. They're Big, Just, Mr. Len, and I. Now, this line has racked my brain for years because it just didn't make any sense to me. B for Big or J for Just comes before M for Mr. or L for Len, but it doesn't come before I or E for L. And when I asked LP about this in an interview I did with him, this is what I got.
But basically it was a joke.
Fuck! Really? Yeah. Are you serious? That's
basically it was just obvious that I was wrong.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Fucking hilarious, man. I'll put a link to the full interview down there. Make sure you guys go check it out because it was a lot of fun. But there's even the song Last Good Sleep. It's a song about L dealing with his mom being abused by his stepdad. You know, a topic that would carry on into his solo album Fantastic Damage with the song Stepfather Factory. And this is kind of the only topical song we get here, but it hits really hard even if you didn't grow up in a broken family. You know, it also showed that there was more going on here besides battle raps and social criticisms. The greatest thing to me about this album is it's truly a sum of all of its parts. I don't think that any one element is better than another. Like, the beats don't outshine the rhymes don't sit on top of the beats in some sort of triumphant way, and I've had numerous discussions with people about who is the better rhymer, LP or Big Just, and it always ends with "Aight, cool," because I honestly don't think that that's a debate that can actually be won. I think that these guys are head to head. They're both dropping non-stop battle bar punchlines that leave you constantly rewinding saying, what the fuck did he just say? And even 20 years after this dropped, I'm still hearing lines that I may have missed before and saying, fuck, how did I miss that? But what always attracted me about this album was the punk attitude I got from it. Punk in sound and punk in ethos. Like, the sound was nothing like what was popular at the time. You know, 1997, 1998, you have Big's Life After Death, you had Jay's In My Lifetime, Mace's Harlem World, you had Wyclef's first album, you had Aquemini, you had Lauryn Hill's album, you had Juvenile's first album. So this was almost like the antithesis of what was really hot at the time. And to me, it seemed intentional, like a big fuck you to mainstream hip-hop. Lines like fuck Time Warner and its affiliates for running that wannabe Big Willie shit. And then when you got the actual CD and you opened it up and the CD case had independent as fuck. Like, this spoke volumes to a DIY punk nerd like me. The low budget aesthetic, the we don't give a fuck about commercial appeal attitude. It was almost like there was this war going on between the underground rap scene and the big mainstream rap scene. A war that we all felt like we were soldiers in. And you know, it does sound really lame and corny when I say it out loud, but at the time it was something that we all really cared about. Like, this was what hip-hop was supposed to be to us. It wasn't big money or fancy cars and fancy clothes and hoes, you know? It was beats and rhymes, and that's what this album brought. Unadulterated, unfiltered beats and rhymes, and no one was making more interesting beats at the time or better rhymes at the time to me. This album really shaped my opinion on rap music, an opinion that I stick to today, the opinion of what rap can be. It can be challenging, it can be extremely creative, it can be smart, and of course there are artists that are all doing those things today, but I feel like they don't get the shine that others do. But diversity is great, it really is. For every Kendrick you have to have a little Yachty. But the fact that extreme diversity didn't really exist back then the way it does now, I think the timing of this record was absolutely perfect, man. This album was the Sex Pistols of hip-hop, man, or the fucking Bad Brains or Minor Threat of hip-hop. You get the picture, you get what I'm saying. Like, the album, it came in and it really shook things up in a way that no one was ready for, and I absolutely love it for that. And LP went on to do great things, and so did Big Just, who has never dropped a slouchy album, and I feel like it all started right here. A record that was dropped in 1997, but would still sound ahead of its time if it dropped today, and that's real shit. So if you've not heard this album, please go check it out and drop me a comment down there and let me know what you thought of it. If you have heard this album, let's fucking talk about it in the comment section down there. And I'll leave you with this last line that just floored me. If I have to live on this earth without sight, I'd be the illest blind bastard to ever touch a mic. Shit is fucking nasty. This album is full of bars like that. So yeah, I'm going to put up the next poll for the next video, probably within the next week. So patrons, make sure you keep an eye out for that. And as usual, thank you for living, thank you for loving, thank you for being you. Please don't die, and I'll see you guys next time. Alright? Peace!